Hey guys, what's going on? Jamie here. Just wanted to do a short overview for Legal Shield. This is one of the companies that I am in, that is non-crypto based. A lot of you guys might be looking for something long term or something that might be outside of the crypto space. This one we've been in now for a couple of months. We've been using the service now for many, many years. Actually, we've been a customer of this company way longer than we actually became a rep of the company. So we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about our experience. We'll show you how the service works, and then we'll talk about the actual business opportunity and the comp plan in this short overview. Of course, I want to start off by saying that I am not a financial advisor. Never take anything I say as financial advice. There are no guarantees in business. As you guys probably already know, your results will vary. It's going to be based on your efforts, your skills, and how much time and energy you put into it, just like any other business. So hopefully that makes sense for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Again, me personally, I was introduced to Legal Shield about 28 years ago. At the time, it was called Prepaid Legal. And because I was with another company, they had introduced us to this service, and I was a customer. I've been a customer for Prepaid Legal, now called Legal Shield, for almost 28 years, and we've used it many, many times. Just in the last 6 months, we've actually used it quite a bit as well. Everyone in my family has the membership, and I'm going to show you why I think everyone, whether you get involved with the opportunity or not, needs this service. Now, quick caveat, this is only available in the US and Canada. So if you are not in the US and Canada, you're not going to be able to get involved. But if you are in the US and Canada, then this is something you might want to take a look at. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Again, there's 31 slides here. I'm not going to cover each one of these slides, just so you know. I'll probably highlight a couple that I think are worth talking a little bit about, and then some of them I'll fly through. And then when I talk about the compensation plan and you see how it works, I'll probably focus a little bit more on that. But of course, compensation plans are only good if you have a valuable service. When I first took a look at this, or when I was first evaluating whether or not I should be a rep, even though I've been a customer for many, many years, I said, is this something people would purchase and hold on to, even if there wasn't a business opportunity? And the answer was unequivocally yes, right? As a matter of fact, some of the highest earners in this company, people that make some crazy money, right? Half of their income comes from just pure customers, and that tells me that it's a solid opportunity. When a network marketing company only gets their customers from their reps, then that's a red flag, right? Because they have so many people making money with this, and half of their income comes from people that are not even involved in the business, just pure customers. That tells me they have a really good model. The other thing that tells me that they have a good model is they've been around for over 50 years. Um, companies that, there's not a whole lot of companies that have been around for 50 years in the network marketing space. So the ones that are, that have withstood the test of time over those decades, tells me that they're doing something right. So when I looked at this, I said, man, I want to be able to build something long term. You're not going to be able to build something long term with companies that aren't proven, or maybe, who knows if they're going to be around. This one I looked at and said, man, they've been around for 50 years. They're not going anywhere. They're rock solid. I could plant my flag here and build something long term. So, those of you guys that are in the crypto space, or maybe you're getting involved with different platforms, that's great. It is, probably a good idea. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want to do, but it is probably a good idea to have something at least in your portfolio. May not be your main deal, right? It may not be your main focus, but it's something you could do on the side that you can build long term. I'm talking about 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So when I looked at this, that's exactly how I approached it, right? Of course, I said it before, I'll say it again, our channel is always going to be a crypto channel. That's kind of, what people come to our channel for. But anytime I see something of value that could benefit people, whether it be from an opportunity standpoint or from just like product or service standpoint, we are going to introduce it and bring it to the table. So this is Legal Shield, right? Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on every single slide here, but I will focus on some. This is one of the things that, this is one of the reasons why people are so attracted to this company. Is the world has forever changed. We are in a work from anywhere revolution. People are making money just from their phone. They're remote. They can work, they can be traveling. As long as they have a phone, and an internet connection, they can build this business. And the cool thing about it is, there's people that do this business full time. There's people that do this business part time. There's people that do this business spare time, slivers of time inside of their busy schedule. there's tools that they provide you with that you don't have to spend a whole lot of time. Now, of course, I'm not saying that, you don't have to work. You're going to have to work, right? But if you have, a cell phone and you know how to text, someone a video, or send an email, you can, probably fit this into your super busy schedule, right? So it says here, people are looking for an income opportunity. They're looking for more time, more flexibility, independence. So what are some criteria of a good business? Well, number one, an opportunity, of course, right? You have to have you have to have a great company with outstanding products and also a superior compensation plan. We have a compensation plan that not only pays you upfront, but it actually pays you long-term residuals down the road. There's people in this company that are getting paid today from memberships that were sold either by them or someone in their organization 20, 25 years ago, which is which is wild, right? You also have to have a system, okay, a proven system that has produced results over and over for years. Okay, the team that we're with, they have a system in place, right? And also a community, leaders, mentors, big thinkers, true partners to show you the way. And of course, that's what we have as well. People that I'm hooked up with are making, again, no income claims, no guarantees. I'm not saying this is going to happen for you, right? But they've made 20 and 25 million dollars in this thing over the last 20 years, and their teams are just growing and expanding, right now, right? So it says here, are you generating the income you desire? There's three forms of income: linear income, which is income based on what you do, right? Like for example, if you're an employee, right, you go to work, you clock in, you get paid by the hour. If you're a real estate agent or some type of a commission based employee, right, or someone that works for yourself. If you go to work, you get paid. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid, right? That's what we call linear income. There's also something called leveraged income. Leveraged income is overrides, right? Overrides when you have, let's say, a team. Best example I could think of is a real estate broker who has agents inside of their office, right? If a real estate broker has agents inside of their office, what do? They teach, they train, they support those agents. When one of those agents goes out and sells a home, the agent gets paid. But guess what? The broker also gets paid. It's called overrides. That's leverage, right? If you were a real estate broker, how many agents would you want to have, right? You'd want to have a lot, right? Hundreds, thousands, unlimited, because anytime somebody does something, you get a little bit of an override, right? And that's powerful because you can stop working, right? Whether it be, by choice, right? You want to go on a vacation, or God forbid, you stop working because you can't work, you get into an accident, you get sick, or there's an emergency. Guess what? Even if you stop working, when you have leveraged income, that income still comes in. The third way is residual income, which is doing the work one time and then getting paid over and over and over into the future for work you did once. So, for example, if you sell a membership, right? If you market a membership, and let's say you're the person you market a membership to, they hold on to their membership long term, company will pay you ongoing, right? They'll pay you renewals, just like an insurance agent gets paid renewals. This company pays renewals as well, right? So those are the three ways you get paid, or you can get paid. So here are the 5 areas to evaluate the company, the product, the need in the marketplace. Obviously, the compensation, as I started talking a little bit about it, and then of course the timing, right? So here's the founder, right? Harlan Stonecipher. He was the founder of the company. He established the company in 1972. Check this out. Over the last 50 plus years, the company has accrued over 4.5 million people, or 4.5 million families that have this coverage. So they have 4.5 million clients and growing just in the US and Canada, right? So this is not an idea that they came up with. It's not proven. This is proven, right? It says here, our vision is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. And this is the home office, right, in Ada, Oklahoma. So this is not a rinky-dink deal. This is not, you know, again, something that's being run out of someone's basement or garage. This is a huge, huge company, and they're giving us the opportunity to not only market their service, but to earn a substantial income, not only today, but over time, build a residual income that's willable, by the way. You can will that residual income. There's a lot of leaders in this company that, you know, started this company 20, 30 years ago. And guess what? Fortunately, they're not around anymore. Their families still get paid their residual income from all of from that book of business that they built 20, 25, 30 years, right? So very, very powerful. So it says here disruptive innovation, right? Obviously, a lot of you guys are familiar with Amazon, right? They've disrupted the way people shop, right? Back in the day, you had to go to the mall, you had to go to the store. Now people just click an order on Amazon and they get boxes sent to their house, right? Like how many times has Amazon delivered something to your house over the last week or two, right? I promise you, probably a couple of times, right? So they've disrupted the way people shop. Spotify, they've disrupted the way people get their music. Back in the day when I was younger, we had to go to the mall and go to, some of these stores and buy these cassette tapes, right? And I'm kind of dating myself there, but nowadays people don't even do that, right? They get on their phone, go to Spotify, they have YouTube music, they just on their phone tap tap tap, they can download any music that they want. Well, guess what? Legal Shield has done the same thing, okay? Just from your phone, right? There's an app that you can get, and from your phone you can actually get access to an attorney for a lot of different reasons. But the key is you have access to an attorney. You tap the phone, and within a couple of hours, you can have a attorney give you a call back. If it's an emergency, we have an emergency line. If it's an emergency, within a couple of minutes, that right there is peace of mind. It's powerful. So again, we're disrupting the way people are getting legal service, right? And now one of the questions you might ask, this is one of the questions that I thought of when I first saw this was, man, if it's only if the cost of the membership is just what less than $2 a day or something like that, who are these lawyers, right? Or who are they? Like, where are these lawyers coming from? See, what you got to understand is it's not your $2 a day that's paying these lawyers. It's 4.5 million customers paying for this membership that's paying these lawyers. These lawyers are getting paid a very hefty sum to represent us. But again, it's not your $2 a day, right? Or whatever it is that you're paying for your membership. It's 4.5 million customers cumulative as a group paying, if that makes sense, right? So again, just know that these are the best attorneys that you can get. Now, sister, have you ever thought about writing or revising your will? Again, if you haven't done that, you probably should, right? If you have a spouse or kids or loved ones that depend on you, you probably should have a will. Have you ever been notified that your personal information was compromised? Again, there's identity theft and getting your accounts hacked. That happens often, right? It just happened to my son a little while ago. He had his bank account hacked, right? That this stuff happens. This is not, you don't need me to tell you that this stuff happens all the time, right? Have you ever been treated unfairly? Or said, let me speak to your supervisor, right? If you go to a store or retail, place, and perhaps you felt like you were treated unfairly, or you were getting, they were doing something that you didn't agree with. That happens all the time as well, right? Have you ever been a victim of a breach or identity theft? Have you ever signed a contract that you didn't understand or regretted later? We sign contracts all the time. If you have a gym membership, a cell phone, if you go to buy a car, those are all contracts, right? So you're signing stuff all the time. Guess what? Sometimes we sign things and we don't even know what we're signing, right? This is important. It just wealthy people, they never sign anything unless their lawyer looks at it, right? Unless their lawyer reviews it. What do? They say, well, let me have my lawyer review it and I'll get back to you. Average people, the everyday person, right? Like you and me, we're just signing stuff all the time. Not even why? Because we don't, we don't have access to that, right? A lot of times we think, okay, we have to pay for a lawyer, what, 400, $500 an hour? So we're gonna have to pay, all this money for them to review documents for us. Forget it. Let me just sign it, right? Guess what? As part of your membership, you can have that service, right? Have you ever received a traffic ticket? Maybe you received a moving violation, you cross a red light, God forbid you get into an accident. Guess what? If you want, you can actually have a lawyer go to court with you or for you, depending if you're out of state, right? With this service, right? For a flat fee, you can have a lawyer go on your behalf and fight the ticket for you, right? That's powerful. That'd probably save you a lot of money down the road because you're not going to get the points on your license, right? Now, I'm not saying drive recklessly or anything like that, but it's good to have a lawyer, helping you with this stuff. What about this? Had an insurance claim denied that you thought was covered. That happens all the time, right? Have questions regarding your credit score. Bought a defective product and wondered what your rights were. You're right. You buy something and then you want to return it. The store's like, well, you can't return it or something. and you're like, man, but it was defective, like it's not working. Guess what? You want to have an attorney in place to talk on your behalf, because again, they'll probably get better results than you and I, right? Worried about having your identity stolen. Again, that happens all the time. So again, these are average everyday things. A lot of times we think, okay, for me, I'm not going to need a lawyer because I'm not doing anything bad or illegal, right? These are just everyday things that happen to us. If you walk out your door, God forbid, you can get into an accident. You can get into a fender bender. Next thing you know, you're being sued, right? Because guess what? We live in a country that's everyone's suing everybody, right? So you want to have a lawyer, you want to have access to legal advice, right? So that's where this membership comes in, right? Here's what you get with this membership, right? And there's a lot of different plans, right? This one will focus on the preferred plan. This is like the premier plan. This one is 37.95 per month for just a little bit over $1 a day, right? I guarantee you spend more than that on coffee. Like if you go to Starbucks and you spend 5, $6 on a coffee, right? Or you spend $8 or $9, buying a coffee for you and a friend or something, you probably spend that all the time. If we're willing to spend it on coffee, we should spend it on, having, the peace of mind to have, an attorney in our back pocket, right? So again, just for a little bit over $1 a day, you can have this plan. Here's what you get. You get consultation on an unlimited number of personal legal matters. Typically, if you want to consult with a lawyer, it's going to cost you 400, $500 per hour, right? Um, Depending on what state you live in. Here you can request a consultation right on the app. You can see there's a button that says request a consultation. You can hit that, fill out a questionnaire, letting them know what what's going on with you. Within a couple of hours, right? Usually the same day, they'll call you right back, and you can talk to them. Letters or phone calls made on your behalf, right? That's powerful too. What if you have a dispute, right, with maybe like a tenant or something like that? Instead of you trying to tell the tenant what's going on, right, or what you would want them to do, you can have an attorney write them a letter, right, an official letter that goes way farther than you trying to argue with them, right? So again, letters on phone calls made on your behalf, document review, right? If you have contracts or documents or leases or anything like that that need to get reviewed, they'll do a review up to 25 pages each, right? Residential loan document review, that's another thing. Residential tenant lease, right? If you have leases and that sort of thing, they'll review that for you as well. Will preparation, get your will done. On average, it's going to cost you anywhere from 700 to $1,000+ just to get your will done. You can get it as part of the membership. They'll do it for free. That right there, you're saving, that pays for your membership in and of itself, just getting your will done, right? Durable power of attorney, physician's directive, living will, very important stuff, especially if you have children, right? Traffic ticket assistance, I already mentioned that before. Two covered violations per year. Um, Property damage, right? E-signature unlimited. Again, some of these things will vary from state to state, but in general, this is what's included with your preferred legal membership. Uncontested name change, uncontested minor child adoption, prenuptial and postnuptial preparation, uncontested civil annulment or separation, uncontested divorce, right? Covered civil trial defense, right? So these are, if you need them to come to court for you, these are some things that you'll get. How about this one? IRS audit assistance. Now, hopefully you never get audited by the IRS, but it happens, right? IRS is always looking for ways to get money from people, right? So for whatever, they'll try to audit you. Guess what? You going to talk to the IRS, not going to be as powerful as you having an attorney with you, right? Or you getting at least legal advice from a qualified tax attorney on what to say, what not to say, et cetera, et cetera. This happens all the time. Okay. Unfortunately, like for me, back in like 20 years ago, I got audited and it was just me talking to the IRS. Not good. Okay. Now, thankfully, we were able to settle, and we're free and clear of that. But I was like in my early 20s. They audited me, right? And at the time, I didn't have this service, right? If I had the service, it would have been awesome, right? But anyway, my point being is that this happens all the time. People get audited by the IRS all the time. 24/7 emergency access. This is big right here. Like if you see, this is actually a picture of the app. You have a button where you can call the law firm, right? And this is when the firms are open. But there's also a button for the emergency line. This is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on at 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve, right? Or Sunday morning, right? Uh, you'll have access to a lawyer. God forbid there's an emergency, right? Legal consultation for covered legal emergencies, such as if you're arrested or detained. Unfortunately, people are getting arrested and detained nowadays, right? Seriously injured, served with a warrant, or threatened to have your children taken away, right? Or let's say you get pulled over at 12 o'clock at midnight or 1 in the morning, you get pulled over. I've heard testimonials from people that, they get pulled over at 1 a.m. They've hit that button and they have their phone resting on their dashboard, and they tell the officer, hey, if you don't mind, I'm just going to have my lawyer, listen in on the conversation. Guess what? That police officer is probably going to have a different conversation with you, or at least a different tone, knowing that you have a lawyer on standby or listening in, than if you didn't. Now, again, I'm not saying that all police officers are bad. There's a lot of good police officers, right? This is the world we live in, right? It's good to have this. For me, that emergency line is worth having. Again, I have a couple of young kids. When they're on the road driving, man, it just gives me peace of mind knowing that if they get pulled over, they'll have an attorney that they have access to, right? Um, Online notarization, 25% discount off the provider law firm standard hourly rate. So if there's something here that's not covered, anything that's not covered, if you need a lawyer for it, at least you'll still get a 25% discount, which is great, right? And then on top of that, guys, we have something called member perks. We have like 400 brands, right, that we have access to, that we can get savings on, right? Retail, shopping, theater tickets, movie tickets, insurance. You have it's a savings plan that's built into your membership. This right here will pay for your membership, right? Right? You'll probably save way more than $30 a month using the member perks, and that'll pay for your membership. So this to me is a super duper no brainer, right? It's a super duper no brainer. So when I looked at this and I said, man, from a business standpoint, can I offer this to people even if they didn't want to do the opportunity or do the business or make money with it? Yes, this is a great service, right? Now, it just so happens that they have a really solid business opportunity. So there's a lot of people that actually get involved with the opportunity, but like I said, a lot of people, will just get the service, right? I had this membership for 28 years before I started to talk about this and promote this just recently, right? And that's testament to, for me, I said, are people going to buy this and hold on to this? I just had to look at myself, right? For 28 years, I've had this membership. I said, man, that's crazy. The person who sold me the membership 28 years ago, I don't know if they're still doing the business or if they're still alive. Who knows? Uh, but if someone's getting paid off of that membership that I bought 28 years ago, that's a powerful business opportunity, right? This is the other product. This is the other service. It's called ID Shield. So there's Legal Shield, right? This one here is called ID Shield. So this is an additional service. This one here for $34 per month. That's the whole family, or $19 per month if you're individual. You can have this ID Shield plan, and this is great because again, like I said, people they get their identity stolen all the time. I mean, uh, there's breaches. There's people's information are always at risk, right? Um, Here you have a credit score tracker, right? You can track your credit score. It also monitors and alerts you not only about your credit score, but your social security number. If your social security number is compromised, if your passport or driver's license is compromised, or email, phone number, date of birth, any public records, any of it is compromised, you'll get an alert on your phone, right, just from the app, which is powerful. So again, it keeps you on top of everything. Also, there's dark web monitoring, right? If any of your information pictures are put on the dark web, you'll get a notification. Privacy management, identity consultation, just in case you do get your identity stolen, they'll give you consultation. And there's also $3 million identity fraud protection, covers certain identity fraud expenses and legal costs resulting from a covered identity fraud event. There's also social media reputation management, reputation score. This is big right here, sex offender search, right? This is what it looks like on the app. You can plug in any address, and when you plug in the address, it'll show you, in a 5 or 10 mile radius, anybody that's a registered sex offender. You never know, right? Who your neighbors are. You never know who lives down the block or the block, a couple blocks away from you. Let's say you're moving into a new apartment. Don't you want to know if there's someone in that apartment complex that has a registered sex offense, especially if you have kids, right? I mean, even if you don't have kids, you want to know, right? But if you have kids, right, it's powerful. And then lost, stolen, wallet assistance, guidance to review what may have been lost or stolen. We will investigate to determine if there was any misuse of your identity. So again, a lot of this is services that's going to help you down the road, and save you from having a huge headache. In addition to that, they also give you your own VPN service. So again, a lot of you guys pay for VPN service. You don't have to pay for it anymore because they provide a VPN service. Again, that in and of itself will pay for your membership because you'll be saving money off of the VPN that you probably already use. This is big right here. Full service restoration. If an identity theft event occurs, they have licensed private investigators that will work as long as it takes to restore your identity to its pre-theft status. So that right there is super powerful as well. So these are great services, right? Also, there's live support. There's licensed private investigators. If you experience an identity theft incident, your investigator will work with you throughout the restoration process. And then this is, as I mentioned before, this is the member perks. This is just an additional thing. We don't hardly ever talk about this because we're usually talking about the legal, the membership benefits. But this is something that else that's part of your membership where again you can save money on Costco, Budget, Enterprise, Adidas, Reebok, T-Mobile, Disney. There's 400 vendors, right? Movie theater tickets, airline tickets. You use your member perks membership. You'll have an account, and you can save money. So that again, that's very powerful. So let's talk about the money opportunity because that's probably what you're here for, right? Because again, there is an opportunity here. Some people want to make a couple $100 a month. Some people want to make a couple $1,000 a month. Some people want to make life-changing income, right? There's opportunity here for everyone. Okay, if you want to work the business a little bit, you can. If you really want to work it hard, you can. You can as well. And there's the compensation will is relative to how much effort you put into this. So again, just from a high overview, you'll get paid anywhere from $80 to $416 when you sign up somebody for the membership, right? If you sign somebody up for the legal shield membership along with the identity theft, you'll make anywhere from $80 to $416 every time you do that, and it only takes you like 10 or 15 minutes, right? Some of you guys say, well, I really can't explain it. You send them a video. The video will explain the membership. If they have any questions, you can have them speak to, your trainer. The trainer can answer questions for you, right? Or you can start a three-way chat on a phone or on Facebook or something like that. Someone else will answer the questions. You send the video, someone else answers the questions. A couple minutes of work, you can make anywhere from $80 to $416. That gets paid to you, by the way, the next day because it's daily pay, right? So that's another thing we'll talk about in a minute. Leveraged income, as we mentioned before, you can build a team, right? You can enroll people. And when they market a membership to their friends and family, their sister, their brother, their aunt, their parents, their neighbor, their best friend, whatever, they'll make 80 to $416. And guess what? You earn an override. How much can you earn an override? I'm going to show you here in a second. But that's powerful because again, you're getting paid when you're not doing the work, right? Leverage is powerful. Residual income, as we mentioned before, getting paid over and over again. Work you do once, you get paid 10% commissions again on month 13, and you earn commissions every month for the lifetime of the membership. And then there's also a bonus. They have bonuses that you can earn as well. So again, that's another powerful thing. And in addition to that, there's incentives, luxury trips, and all that sort of thing. But let's take a look at the compensation plan real quick. This is on if you market a combo, right, which is the preferred, the legal plan plus the ID shield. So what is that? That's like 70 bucks a month, right? Give or take, right? If my math it's not perfect, but it's about 70 bucks a month, which is what, like a little bit over $2 a day, right? So you're marketing somebody a membership that costs them $2, a little bit over $2 a day, and they're saving a whole lot of money with the member perks. They have all these benefits. Again, as a brand new person, you're making 80 bucks for doing that. It takes only a couple of minutes. If you're a senior associate, you'll make $100. If you're a manager, 132. If you're a senior manager, 178. If you're a director, you'll make $246. If you're a senior director, 331. And if you're an executive director, $416. That's what you'll make if you personally market the membership. Now, if you have someone on your team, let's say you bring me on board, right? And let's say you're a manager in this example. You bring me on board and I'm an associate. And I go and talk, I'm excited. I get involved. I go talk to my brother. I say, hey, sign up for this membership. It's awesome. He signs up, takes me 10 minutes. I make $80. I'm pretty excited about that. Had you had signed up a membership, you would have made 132. But because you didn't sign up the membership and I did, the company gives you an override or the difference of what I make and what you would have made. So for example, in this scenario, I make $80. You make the difference between 132 and 80, which is $52, right? You add this up right here, 20 plus 32, $52. Not so bad for something you didn't do, right? What if same scenario, if I'm an associate on your team, I go in and I make $80 marketing a membership. Let's say you're an executive director. You're at the executive director position. You would have made $416, but because you didn't write up the membership and I did, and I'm on your team, you get paid all of these overrides, which is $336. I get paid 80. I'm excited. I'm brand new. You get paid $336. What if I go market 3 memberships that week because I'm excited? Well, that's over 1,000, 336 times three. That's over $1,000 in overrides that you didn't work for. What if you had 3 of me on your team, 10 of me on your team, 15 of me on your team? Do you see how this thing can get crazy and why people are making some crazy money in this thing? Not only is it a great service, but the comp plan pays out amazing, right? There's people that in their first 6 months in this thing, make anywhere from 100 to 200 grand in their first 6 months. I'm not saying that's going to happen for you. Disclaimer here: no income claims, no guarantees, right? I don't know, how much you're going to put in, and of course they probably went to work, but all I'm saying is that there's opportunity, right? Um, Powerful. The guy that I'm working with, he's made over $25 million with this thing. Uh, over the last 20 years, right? So I mean, huge opportunity. Now again, you might not be thinking that big. What if you just wanted to make an extra 500 to $1,000? I mean, you can go out there and you can go market a few memberships, have, 1 or 2 or 3 people on your team market a few memberships. You're making $1,000 a month. Uh, that'll give you some financial relief, right? Some of you guys are looking for that. And again, this is long term. You can build this long term. This company's not going anywhere. Performance Club incentive trips, again, they have different bonuses. I'm not going to speak on that too much on this video, but they have different bonuses that you can earn. And there's also trips. They take 750 people, right, and their partners to these luxury trips to Hawaii, to Jamaica, to Cancun, right? They take them to these trips. So, I mean, what if you were working the business, right? You were making extra income, and just for doing what you were supposed to do anyway, you're qualifying for these trips, and you have 2 trips paid for every single year. Very, very powerful. Here's a the Performance Club bonus, where I'm not going to spend too much time on this in this video. Here's the Wheel of Opportunity, right? Again, there's different ways that you can approach this business. The way that I'm approaching the business is, obviously we want to build a team. We're marketing some memberships, but there's people that they want to use this to market as an employee group, right? They want to go to different companies and market it and say, hey, you have 10 employees here, 20 employees here, 100 employees here. Hey, we would like to show you this service, and you can give it to your employees. There's people that make 6 figures in this thing and don't even have a team because they're just marketing the membership. So again, there's lots of ways you can do that. Not going to spend too much time on that in this video, just showing that there's a huge opportunity. So again, here are the 5 areas to evaluate. As you mentioned, the company, again, over 50 years old, rock solid, right? Company's not going anywhere. The product, everyone needs this product. Everyone needs this service, right? For $2, a little bit over $2 a day, they can have both the Legal Shield, the preferred Legal Shield membership, and the identity theft service. Is there a need in the marketplace? Well, you tell me. People getting detained nowadays? Are people getting arrested nowadays? Are people getting audited by the IRS? Are people getting into fender benders, right? People, I mean, there's always a need for an attorney, right? Only thing is we've been conditioned all our lives that we don't need one because it costs money. But guess what? Wealthy people, they have attorneys, right? Compensation. Again, the compensation plan pays upfront, also pays down the road. It's balanced, right? And of course, the timing. Well, the only person that can answer that is you, right? Is the timing right for you? Because again, if the timing is not right for you, then this may not be for you, right? But some of you guys are looking for something like this. You're looking for something that you can get into, that you can build down the road, and have a long term income with. So here's the last thing I'm going to cover, right? Become an associate. You work based on your schedule. Build your business from anywhere. It's a willable book of business that you're building. Residual income for the lifetime of the membership. You also have access to fast start classes, ongoing weekly training, and you also will get assigned a personal mentor and trainer. One-time registration fee. Now, we at the time when they made the slide, there was a promo going on. It was 49. That promo's ended. It's actually $99. But still, you have a one-time registration fee of $99, and then you have the Legal Shield Advantage Plus subscription, which is $24.95 a month. That's access to your back office, to the apps, to the tools, to the CRM. So out of pocket, right? It's 49. Oh, excuse me, 99 plus a little bit under 25, so $125, and then $25 a month, you can be in business, right? Of course, we would definitely recommend if you become an associate to become a member as well. But as I mentioned before, even if you don't become an associate, you should consider becoming a member because these services everybody needs. And again, it only takes 3 minutes to enroll. So here's a we always say it's easy or as simple as 1, 2, 3 to get started. Number one is enroll in the membership. Number two is become an associate. And number three is you have the opportunity now to get paid daily, which means literally if you get started today, you can market a membership today and get paid tomorrow. Is that powerful? That's powerful stuff, right? So again, this is something you can add to your docket, add to your portfolio. This is something that we've added. It's been several months now that we've been in, and we've added this to our portfolio. We market a lot of this offline, but it's powerful, right? It's a really something that in 2026 we're going to be putting a lot of time and energy and focus on. So if you want to check this out, hit me up and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.